Government farm programs have been a centerpiece of rural policy for more than 60 years, and the two would-be presidents have differing approaches to the role of Washington in the agricultural corners of America. The matchup of two sitting U.S. senators gives voters an insight into their opinions and votes on federal farm programs. Senator John McCain, a 26-year congressional veteran, has voted on countless farm legislation throughout his career, and his opinions on current policy have caught the attention of farm groups.
I've been in Washington for 20 years working on agriculture issues, and John McCain has never been what you'd call farmer-friendly in his votes.
Tom Bias, president of the 250,000-member National Farmers Union, says Senator McCain has consistently clashed with farm groups on everything from ethanol subsidies to general government support for agricultural commodities. But Bias adds the Arizona senator may be focusing his efforts on the issues of Southwestern constituents and not the nationwide farm community.
Now, whether or not running for president, it's a little different being president of all 50 states as opposed to a senator from Arizona, changes those views, but thus far it doesn't sound like it has. He went to Iowa and said he would veto the Farm Bill, and very few of his colleagues in Washington felt that way.
That I have to give you a little straight talk about the Farm Bill that is wending its way through Congress. I do not support it. I would veto it. I would do that because I believe that the subsidies are unnecessary, and I believe that we should not subsidize. I do not believe we should have tariffs against imported products.
In what campaign supporters call classic John McCain, the Republican nominee called for a veto of the 2008 Farm Bill in the heart of the nation's leading corn state. At the time, a veto threat was echoed by President Bush, who eventually followed through on the warning. Bush and McCain viewed the Farm Bill as an example of wasteful government spending. But McCain and Obama's fellow senators had overwhelming bipartisan support for the Farm Bill on Capitol Hill. The agriculture legislation passed with 82 out of 100 senators voting in the affirmative. Senators McCain and Obama were absent from the vote and on the campaign trail, but their intentions were clear. McCain's pledge to veto if he was president, and Senator Obama's pledge to vote in favor of the Farm Bill if the vote was too close to call.
Well, and if he vetoed it, we had 82 votes to override his veto. My friend George Bush vetoed it. So, it's John really is not tuned in necessarily to agriculture. And he and I have had a number of conversations about it. And, the one thing that I think you'll find is that as President of the United States, John McCain is going to make sure that the 2008 Farm Bill is implemented the way it's designed to be implemented.
Georgia Republican Saxby Chambliss is a McCain supporter and a point man for Southern agriculture issues in the U.S. Senate. Chambliss argues that defenders of farm programs on Capitol Hill will keep a potential President McCain in tune to agriculture.
From an ag perspective, you've got folks like me, you got folks like Pat Roberts, you got the Chuck Grassers of the world, who certainly have the ear of John McCain. And John is somebody who will listen to us. Now, he may not agree with us on everything.
The nation's largest farm group, the American Farm Bureau, has disagreed with McCain in the past on farm programs and has not had success in changing his views.
We realize it may not have been a perfect bill, but it was a great bill, and we were very happy with the bill that did come out. We were very supportive of it. I think we were disappointed that Senator McCain made those type of comments because it was a great negotiation that took place. And so if he is elected, we would certainly look to work with him and change his views on some of his positions on agriculture.
Ann Steckel, the Director of Congressional Relations for the Farm Bureau, adds that Senator Obama's views on farm policy may be geographically aligned.
I think that being from a farm state like Illinois, Senator Obama has had a long-standing policy of supporting biofuels, and his policy positions have just reflected that.
Senator Barack Obama has been in the U.S. Senate for nearly 4 years, and during that time, the Illinois Democrat pledged support for government farm programs.
So I hope that the same bipartisan spirit that led to the RFS can lead to other legislation to help cut our ties to foreign oil.
Obama supporter and former Senate Majority Leader Tom Daschle believes the separate candidates' division over farm legislation could change the electoral landscape in rural America.
I don't think there's any doubt that John McCain is not going to get the farm vote this year. John McCain realizes that he has a record that doesn't deserve the farm vote, and you're going to see Barack Obama do very, very well. Even among Republicans who would vote against him for other reasons, they recognize the importance of agriculture, especially this year.
But that notion faces the cold reality of recent history. In the 2004 election, Republican President George W. Bush routed Democratic Senator John Kerry throughout rural agriculture counties across the country. In addition to electoral records, McCain supporters believe the Arizona senator will fare strongly in farm country on the issue of free trade.
Think of John McCain and farming generally. Ethanol is a very important thing in agriculture in America. But as far as farmers are concerned, it can't hold a candle to free trade because we got to sell our products overseas. And Obama wants to rehash every trade agreement we have.
During a Democratic primary debate, Senator Obama agreed with his opponent, Hillary Clinton, that the United States should re-examine trade deals like the landmark 1993 NAFTA agreement. Hoping to collect votes in economically challenged sections of rural Ohio, the Democratic senator pledged to cautiously judge future trade agreements and possibly revisit old ones. The cautious approach is at odds with McCain, who openly pledges to push free trade for American farm goods.
And my mission and my job as President of the United States, one of them will be to make sure that every market in the world is open to your products.
McCain's stance on free trade could give him a boost in certain sectors of rural America. But those free trade principles are central to his opposition of ethanol subsidies and the ethanol import tariff. When the two candidates for president were given the option of which government programs could be cut in the face of an unprecedented financial bailout, the Arizona Republican made it clear ethanol subsidies were the first program to go.
What priorities would you adjust as president, Senator McCain, because of the financial bailout costs?
We need to examine every agency of government. First of all, by the way, I'd eliminate ethanol subsidies. I oppose ethanol subsidies.
Asked the same question, Senator Obama declined to name specific programs he would cut and insisted on mentioning the policies he would promote.
Also making sure that we have a new electricity grid to get the alternative energy to population centers that are using them. So there's some things that we've got to do structurally to make sure that we can compete in this global economy. We can't shortchange those things. We've got to eliminate programs that don't work, and we've got to make sure that the programs that we do have are more efficient and cost less.
In the wake of a historic election, rural farm policy has not received substantial attention. But both candidates have provided clues to their outlook on government's role in agriculture. For Market to Market, I'm Andrew Bott.